Welcome to the program, Help is Not a Four-Letter Word, Overcoming Stigma and Recommendations for Positive Change. My name is Tracy Kepler, and for the next hour, I'll be sharing some information on this important subject with you. To provide you with a roadmap for the next hour, I plan to give you an overview of the concept of stigma as it relates to mental health and substance use impairments, and then take a look at how this stigma affects law students, judges, and lawyers throughout their entire career. Together, we will also look at some variations of stigma and how it differs depending on illness or context. Lastly, I want to provide you with some guidance on how we can all go about conquering stigma. To begin, I want to pose a couple questions to the group. Raise your virtual hand if you went to see your primary care physician in the past year, or you were admitted to a hospital for any reason over the past year. Or how about if you took an aspirin, Lipitor, prednisone, or used an inhaler over the past year? Or raise your hand if you felt aches and pains, nauseated, woozy in the past year. Now, if I was to ask you to raise your hand, and no need to raise your hand, but just think about it, to the following questions. You went to see a mental health professional over the past year, or you were admitted to a treatment facility over the past year. You took Xanax, Ritalin, lithium over the past year, or how about if you just felt anxious or depressed? Why are those same questions different? And why might you be reluctant to answer the second set if we were in a giant conference room with other members of the legal profession? I'm going to suggest that it is the topic of our program today, the stigma. So what is stigma? Let's go through a general overview of the topic and the concept. Let's go back and start at the very beginning, sort of the Oxford English Dictionary definition. The dictionary defines stigma as a mark of disgrace associated with a particular circumstance, quality, or person. But it is really more pervasive and goes much deeper. It sets a person apart, makes them part of, and I'm doing air quotes here, the other. When people are labeled by their illness, they are seen by others as part of a stereotyped group. Stigma is all about beliefs and attitudes, often derived from the media, news sources, or those around us. Stigma is based on negative views of people simply because they have or they are seen as belonging to a particular group. Stigma often results in fear of members of the stigmatized group, and it's often based on ignorance and lack of understanding. Negative attitudes also create prejudice, which then leads to negative actions and often discrimination. Stigma is made up of various components, such as labeling, discriminating, prejudice, ignorance, stereotyping, devaluing. And stigma brings with it experiences and feelings of shame, blame, hopelessness, distress, and most importantly for our purposes here today, a reluctance to seek and or accept necessary help and treatment.